if you control the listings, you control the market, and listings are going to attract buyers.
Right, and you control the sale, right? You don't want to be the, it's like anything else. You want to be the shop owner selling a great product, not the person coming in and buying it, right? I mean, you want to be the one that's in control of the sale.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
Good morning, depending on where you are. Good afternoon. Great to see you all. We're going to get started in just a couple of seconds here. But do me a favor, let me know where you're from, and what who you are, where you're from, what the single biggest question you have or challenge that you're hoping we address today. Usually for our webinars, whenever we tee something up like this, I like to ask people, something drove you to sign up for this? What's the single biggest thing or challenge that you're hoping to address in your business? So for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Ricardo Bueno. I'm the head of partnerships and event producer here at Follow Up Boss. I'm with my good friend, Scott Sillari, CEO of Synch. Scott, what's up, man? How are you?
Good, Ricardo. It's great to see you, man. You've been just crushing and busy with FUDCon at the end of last year. It's been craziness. So it's
been
good.
A fun ride.
Yeah, it's good to see you and chat with you, man.
Awesome. So I know we're just getting to streaming on the Facebook group, but topic for today is 3 new Follow Up Boss integrations to help you generate more hot seller leads. How would your business change if you had the opportunity to work with more, to capture more listings? So that's what we're kind of hoping to share with you all today. Couple of quick housekeeping items, and then I'm going to just kick it off over to you, Scott, so you can drive the ship.
Yep.
But yes, this webinar is being recorded. You'll get a copy of the webinar once the recording is ready. So just sit tight, keep an eye on your inbox, and we'll send that over to you. So don't worry, sky isn't falling. If you feel like you're taking notes, but you can't keep up fast enough, don't worry, we got you covered. That's all I wanted to say. If any of this seems overwhelming, what I would say is don't worry about it. Myself, I'll be here monitoring the Zoom chat. So if you do have questions, use the chat panel. And then myself and Scott, our teams are always super accessible. So don't worry if any of this feels overwhelming. We can schedule a call or a sync after that. If you do have any questions, just again, continue to use that chat box or the questions panel. I'm going to take a seat and monitor the chat for those questions, field those questions. I'm going to let Scott steer the ship. But with all of that said, Scott, welcome to the webinar. I'm going to kick the controls over to you. Tell us a little bit about, Synch, who you are, what you do. At Follow Up Boss, we pride ourselves on, we've always said, we call ourselves Switzerland. We recognize that an agent's tech stack changes somewhat regularly. And the one thing that remains constant is your CRM. So we make it super easy, super efficient for you to connect really any tools that you want to connect to, because we recognize your tech stack changes. So one of the beauties of Follow Up Boss is that we have an open API and that we are easy to use and integrate with. With all of that said, want to kick it over to Scott so you can kick us into today's agenda.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Ricardo. And that's one of the things I love about Follow Up Boss, and we say the same thing. With Synch, we pride ourselves in being like Switzerland as well, in a sense to where we're just trying to build really good, robust integrations that can allow real estate business owners to have efficiencies, to automate, to allow their tech to work for them, to make it seamless and easy to use the solutions that they want to use. Because the reality is there's thousands of applications, and a lot of times you want to keep using certain things that maybe don't have a direct integration, or there's no Zaphier yet. And if we can provide that solution, that's where we want to live, right? So we're just constantly trying to enable the best partners like Follow Up Boss, some of our best partners that we have, to not only, obviously Follow Up Boss has tons of native, tons of integrations with other integration platforms like Zaphier or API Nation. Like, we all fit a role in this big picture because there's so many apps to connect with, right? So that's where we live. We're trying to enable more applications. And so today I want to talk about 3 newer applications that we integrate Follow Up Boss with that can help you generate more seller leads, because we always want to generate seller leads, right, Ricardo? I mean, whether it's today's market or last year's market, you always want to be the one with the listing. So how do you get more listings?
What's that saying? If you control the listings, you control the market, and listings are going to attract buyers.
Right. And you control the sale, right? You don't want to be it's like anything else. You want to be the shop owner selling a great product, not the person coming in buying it, right? I mean, you want to be the one that's in control of the sale. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. I mean, for those that don't know who I am, Scott Sillari, I've been, why should you listen to me at all whatsoever? I think that's a good question to answer up front. I've been working in the real estate space for about a decade with business owners, specifically advising them and consulting them on whether it was marketing when I was working for a marketing firm called Viral Marketing, or when I've been running this company, Real Synch. So I've always been working within the real estate agent team space, broker space, to where I'm helping real estate teams just improve their business, man, and quality of life, and just all the things that you want to have as an entrepreneur and a business owner. I'm in the same position running a business as an entrepreneur, and trying to make it easier for those within the real estate space. So that's my background. I actually was a certified home appraiser before that. So I have good knowledge about and understanding about the real estate market. And I do have my license, although I don't actively sell because I don't like homeowners and I don't want to ever sell a house. Now, that being said, let's jump into the 3 systems that we're going to talk about today. So I think, and then the other thing, Ricardo, that I wanted to mention is I love feedback, questions. I don't want to be just a talking head for 45 minutes or an hour or whatever the time is that we're going to be on today. So if you have questions about something I'm saying, feedback, anything, type it out, throw it in the chat so that Ricardo can get to it and he can interrupt me. So I'm not just yammering on and on for this webinar.
Basically hit us. We got you.
Yeah, totally. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about, which is a newer.
You're good to share your screen whenever you're ready, Scott, by the way.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So, I'm not going to get into the weeds on sharing, how to set these integrations up, because that's just unnecessary. It's more, I'm going to talk about the products themselves and how we integrate with them, and then, what they potentially could do for, as something that you can add into your business, and why it makes sense. Right. So let me grab the screen share here, and I think it's this one. Okay. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and these companies are going to love the fact that I'm just basically showcasing their platforms, right? But the first one I'm going to talk about is Fello. So if anyone hasn't heard of Fello, literally it says seller lead generation amplified. You can request a demo, get started. What Fello is it's a way to generate more seller leads through reactivating anyone that's in ponds or leads that you have in Follow Up Boss that are essentially maybe they've just been untouched, or you thought they were dead, or they said, don't contact me for a long time. Some sort of pond that you might be using in FUB that you feel like the leads are kind of dead. What happens is when you integrate with Fello, using RealSync. And what's cool about this particular integration is that when you sign up with Fello, they include RealSync, so you don't have to pay us directly, which is great, right? But basically, what this allows you to do is it's just another way to engage these leads. So you pipe these leads from Follow Up Boss into Fello, whether it's all of the leads that you have in FUB, or again, like I mentioned, those ponds, to get them to reactivate and start engaging. So I have an example. One of a lot of people know Air Catch around here at Robbie T. They are the Hatch Group. They're out of the Dakota, I think South Dakota, North Dakota. I don't know which state they're actually in. I don't know those states up there. But they basically grabbed one of their dead ponds and the leads, like I just mentioned, and they turned it in with marketing to 97 home value leads, 2 seller cash offers, 498 home value views, a total of 4,000 opens, and they delivered, now their list was 40,000. So they delivered 40,000 emails, right? So not only is Fello essentially a tool that is going to allow you to offer, to buy it with cash or cash offers, right? That's kind of the incentive or the idea behind the messaging and the marketing that they're doing. But it's going to revitalize and get these leads that you have in your Follow Up Boss to re-engage, right? So, obviously this database of 40,000 is huge, and a lot of it depends on are you using Follow Up Boss to its capacity? Meaning, are you maximizing your engagement with contacts, the leads? Are you getting in front of them? Are you marketing to them? Are you branding yourself? Are you running Facebook ads? Are you remarketing people to the website that you're using? Are you doing all these other things that you've done to build authority with your database, which is very important, right? And a lot of what Fello would do is a lot of what the results that are going to happen with Fello are going to reflect, if you are doing those things, people actually know who you are in your database, right? So in this particular case, right, he had 40,000 emails that sent 4,000 opens. So that's 10%. That's pretty good. It's decent, right? It depends on the list, of course. But 500 home value views. And again, 2 seller cash offers, 97 home value leads, and 9 CMAs. So they had a lot of people that are engaged now, 11 engagements out of that, right? That are now type seller leads. And then they had another 97 that had some sort of intent, but may not be right now, right? But could be someone that's within the next 12 months, right? I think that's how they judge intention with Fello. So, that is Fello. I would recommend going. Now, how the integration performs, obviously we're talking about integration. So RealSync set up an integration with Follow Up Boss, bi-directional with Fello. Okay. So basically anytime this marketing is engaging this database within Fello, it's going to be piping in all of the properties that these people are looking at into Follow Up Boss. It's going to be updating notes in Follow Up Boss. And then you can have real-time notifications set up to where you're basically seeing what people are looking at through the system. If they're, requesting a home value, what property, and it's constantly updating if they change, what they're looking for, essentially, how many homes, bathrooms, blah, 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 all the different features within certain properties. So almost like a property search, it's going to be continuously updating that information directly in the Follow Up Boss. So again, going back to Follow Up Boss is your hub. That's where you want your agents living, right? It's the place where everything should be getting done, and all of the different applications in your tech stack are those ancillary systems are integrating bidirectionally with Follow Up Boss. So you're always in Follow Up Boss. That's the source of truth for all your data, right? So it's the same thing with Fello. It's bidirectional that way. It pipes in the data in and then also out. So when you're adding new leads into Follow Up Boss from different lead sources, you can send it over into Fello. So then it's starting to get that engagement and marketing to hopefully produce some sort of seller lead. So this is one of the newest integrations that we offer. Again, if you go do a demo with Fello, they automatically give you RealSync's integration. So you don't need to sign up for us directly, which is cool. So yeah, I think this is a really great system. Does anyone have any questions about this first integration that I'm talking about today? Please add questions if you have them. And I'm going to move.
Hey Scott,
on
I know you guys you give us kind of like a high level overview, but would you happen to know like specifically what exactly does Fello do? Is it emailing your database? If so, what kind of cadence? What is it sending to your database? All of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so that would be it is emailing, right? And you can see I'm scrolling through here to leadership team. But yeah, it's emailing. I believe it's texting, but mostly email, man. It's mostly doing email engagement just with a different offer. So it's driving leads. It's driving those leads that maybe were in like a dead pond, through email.
Yeah, but what is it emailing them?
Like what specifically?
Yeah. Is it home values? Is it like a monthly home value report? Is it?
Yeah. So it's like almost like, I guess you would say, if anyone knows like HomeBot, right? It's cool. It's similar to that type of email where it's sending them like it's engaging them with what their current address is. It's sending like what the value of their home is worth. If they have any sort of mortgage information, I believe that's in the emails as well. It's sending like, all the market stats within your particular area and your neighborhood. And then obviously within that email also has like the cash offer. So you can see some of these things here that I'm mentioning, but like it has the home estimate, get a cash offer. A lot of this information is tailored within the email that it's sending and keeping people updated with that information. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, again, very similar to like if anyone's seen like a HomeBot email, but I think the difference is you can engage more within the email with the data specifically of your property and adjust what you believe the home value is of your property as well. And then also a lot of it is, of course, recent home sales within your particular neighborhood or zip code and those things, right? So just all the info that, as like a normal consumer, you would be looking to have within an email, right? So I get like Redfin updates and they're not very good. It like shows me some homes, but I don't get all like this incorporates, what your home is worth. Like
just to give you guys some structure here. So I've never used Fello before, but like just taking a look at it, it looks like a pretty like robust platform. So the cool stuff is that it looks like you'll be able to create landing pages. You'll be able to do like lead capture widgets. You'll be able to do stuff that you can integrate to like your website or that you can integrate on the signature of your email, et cetera, et cetera. Like the goal for me would be, how am I going to capture these leads and put them into my system? And then how am I going to have the two systems like Follow Up Boss and Fello communicate with one another? The value here is like, don't look at this and think, oh God, just another tool for me to sign up for. The strategy here is the following. Like homeowners are 100%. And I used to say this all the time. Homeowners are 1000% always curious what their home is worth. They're looking at their home value, the way that they check their banking account balance, or the way that they check their stock price. That's why home value alerts are so sticky. It's because literally every homeowner out there today wants to know what their home is worth. They're either going to get that from you, and here's what I would say. The accuracy of the home value does not matter, at least not right now for these purposes. It doesn't matter because they're going to get the home value one way or another. They're going to get it from you, or they're going to go to Zillow or literally anywhere else and get the home value there. So again, the accuracy of the value does not matter.
So I know that, after talking to some of them that run this as well, they said, they obviously are talking about how they're pulling data from everywhere to where their home values are fairly accurate, right? It's never going to be perfect. But as you mentioned, like a lot of this stuff is embedded in your website. It's embedded in your social posts as well. Like you have customizable widgets that they set up, and then they have an ancillary backend system to host a lot of this data, to where then only when they get to a certain intent that they're sending it back in the Follow Up Boss so you can do the lead follow-up, right? So the idea, go ahead.
But here's the strategy for you. Again, accuracy of the value literally doesn't matter. The point is for you to engage that prospect in a conversation about buying or selling real estate. So the strategy is, hey, you've been getting my local market updates or my local home value from Fello. I imagine you looked at it and thought, well, my home is worth way more than this. Here's what you need to know. Realtors and worse, other platforms like Zillow are relying on tools like this to figure out your home's value as well. But for a home like yours, technology isn't enough. You need human expertise and storytelling to inspire people to see your home's value beyond the algorithm. If you want an expert human valuation of your home, reply to this email and my team will take care of the rest.
Yeah.
Like that'll literally tee you up to have more conversations about going on a potential listing appointment with your database than literally anything else. So don't worry about the technology too much. The technology is just sort of a means to activate them or get them interested. And then the language that we use, like in our drip campaigns, in our follow-up, et cetera, if you can get very intentional about like literally what I just said, most tools like this are automated, but if you want an expert human evaluation of your home, reply to this email, we'll take care of the rest. Like that's literally going to tee you up for success.
Yeah, absolutely. And and as I was mentioning some of the numbers of the Hatch team, right, earlier, there was CMAs, right? So like one of the call to actions is like, get a CMA, talk to us. We'll actually get you a real valuation of what we believe your home is worth. And then there is always a cash offer tied to that, where it allows you to do a cash offer if someone requests it. Right. So, but yeah, man, this is one that I think is, it's a newer platform. I think they, in the last 6 months that they've launched. And I think, if you're going to take a look now, right? See if you can get something going before the spring market kicks up or starts to kick up, and at least check it out. All right. And again, integrates right to your Follow-Up Boss, which is what we're talking about here, keeping everything in FUB and allowing you to have these ancillary systems integrated. Right. So this was one of the first ones I wanted to talk about. The other one, I don't really even need to share screen, Ricardo, because, well, I will anyway, but we're going to talk about Google Contacts. So there's a lot of I'm going to do this real quick and pull up mine. Okay. And I think there's a lot of questions around this, man. There's different solutions out there for Google Contacts. Why is it valuable having an integration with your Google? Okay. This one we've been working on for like 6 months, and at least 6 months, and continue to tweak it and improve it and enhance it. I think the biggest value that I find in this integration for real estate teams, and this is like based off of talking to people and getting feedback from them that are starting to use our product, specifically this integration, is the fact that like you literally can add someone to your phone, and as long as you get their email, it's going to go directly into Follow Up Boss. Has nothing to do with Google. Google is just the vessel to literally get the contact through your phone into Follow Up Boss. And then obviously what's amazing about Follow Up Boss is whether it's based on lead source or if you're applying a label or a tag as that lead comes in, you can have specific automation set up to put them on a campaign, right? Whether it's emails, text, you're doing some follow-up phone calls or whatever, right? Which is the key. I mean, the number one most opened email is some sort of welcome email when a new person comes into your funnel, right? So that needs to happen immediately. So if you have that set up as you're adding someone in your phone when you're out and about, and they're getting an email before you even leave the conversation, maybe, I mean, that's pretty cool, right? So the way we set up our Google Contacts is a real-time integration. You throw in first name, last name in an email. The reason the email is required, even though we could technically create a contact in Follow Up Boss without an email, is for matching purposes. You don't want to be creating duplicates in Follow Up Boss, right? So first name, last name, email. Obviously, if you have a phone number, that goes in too. Probably getting a phone number if you're using your phone, right? You're putting that contact, you're creating that contact. And then it uses, like I said, it uses Google as a vessel to go directly into Follow Up Boss. And so some of the, some of the real-time feedback with this is that there's so many people in your phone that you're adding over time that maybe are getting left behind, right? Or they just never made it into Follow Up Boss for whatever reason. I literally was on a mastermind yesterday with Barry Jenkins, and we were talking about this, and we were talking about how like you can be reactivating a lot of your database with this process with using a bi-directional integration like this. So we do have it going both directions. What's great about that is if you need to send someone from your Follow Up Boss into your Google, so they're in your phone, right, in real time, or in your contacts in your phone, right? You can do that as well just by making an update. So the cool thing about this is it's fairly robust when it comes to let me grab this person, Emmett here, on what data it actually pipes into Follow Up Boss. So I got to edit here. You're going to get any emails, job title, company, first name, last name, any of the phone numbers. So up to 4, I believe, phone numbers we can put into Follow Up Boss. Birthday, website, I mean, all this stuff, notes. Okay. Address. And then related people. So if you type in the name John here, you can pick one of these. And this is also going to go into Ricardo. What do you call it in FUB again? What's the secondary contact?
That's a good question.
I don't remember what.
Somebody's asking, what if the contact is in my Google contacts and is already in Follow Up Boss, but the info is different? Does it add the additional phone or email?
Yeah, it'll update it and add the additional information. If you go and make an edit, you would have to make an edit. You couldn't just, it wouldn't just grab it. So you'd have to come in here and like, oh, I'm going to add a birthday randomly in here, or vice versa. So you add some data into the contact in Follow Up Boss, it will update your Google with that information automatically. And
then it's called a relationship.
Yeah, relationship, right. So
Sean and Paul, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Someone's asking, can we transfer contacts from our iPhone contacts, or does it have to be transferred to Google Contacts first?
No, it can be straight from your iPhone. Okay. Again, when you set up your phone, more than likely you hit allow a couple times for Google without even knowing, and you have your iPhone connected to your Google automatically already. If not, we have, steps to do that, right? It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. So yeah.
And then what do you recommend here? Are you recommending that you transfer contacts one at a time, or do you do like a mass sync? What's the downside of doing a mass sync?
No, you can. Okay. So here's what I recommend. I am of the mindset that every single person in your phone should be in your CRM to work for business. I don't care who they are. And then you can let them tell when you're sending them automation or whatever through Follow Up Boss. They can tell you the F off, right? But don't leave them in your phone sitting there, because they could be business. Okay. So during the setup process, we do have the option for migration. You basically just click the button and it will pull in every single contact that's in your phone into Follow Up Boss. And of course, dedupe them, right? So assuming that you, again, have emails, right? Which it's going to pull in anyone with an email. They don't have an email like this one, it's going to skip it. It's not going to pull it. Okay. So it's got to have an email. And then it will obviously match the email. Now, if you have, this guy has if you have David here and you have David in Follow Up Boss with a different email, well, it's going to create David again with the new email. So you will have two people, but you have to merge them later. So it could create a little work, but again, it's still worth it, right? If you think about the big picture. Okay. So getting them all in. The other thing too is if you have a team, you can enable this for all your agents. So you can send an email to authorize your agents to migrate all their data to, so they can get it all in, and it would be all those leads would just create under their user in Follow Up Boss, right? So now you have everyone's database from their phones into Follow Up Boss to start sending automations to, and to start getting onto, drips and all that stuff, right? Follow up, text, whatever. Right. All the things that you already know how to do or should be doing within Follow Up Boss, but you're just revitalizing this database. It's like, for instance, Barry, I think he's like the master of having ponds and moving people around that he already has, and not buying new leads because he has such a big database. He has an untapped 10,000 people in his Google that he's starting to use our tool for to send in. And actually, we're going to be posting some videos later on this week from the interview I did with him yesterday about how he's using it and the benefits that he's getting from it. But the reality is, again, if there's leads in your phone that aren't getting worked, then it's just like potential free business where you don't have to go buy it online, right? Or go work it. You just need to get it into your database, into your funnel, right? So the other cool thing that we did with this integration is if you are recruiting new agents, right? They don't have any contacts in their G Suite Google email that you're going to give them when they come onto your team, right? It's all in their personal. So what we built into it is a way to add their personal email within the integration so that you can send them the email to allow them to connect their personal Gmail to their user in Follow Up Boss and import all their contacts when you're onboarding them. Right. So you can do that as part of your onboarding process as well. And then from there, it's all real time. So any new contacts that you're adding to your phone, it'll send over. And then obviously, if you actually happen to be in Google for some reason, I don't know who would be, right? But if you're in here, making an update to a contact, or you're doing it through your phone, because you can make updates to contacts if you have that particular app downloaded, but it just doesn't make sense, right? So you may be making updates to the contact, in your iPhone, under contacts, and then it would update and send over as well and make that update, right? And then the other thing with this integration is these labels they're labels here, but they're considered tags. And what you can do is you can create mass filters in your Gmail. Okay. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful face. So you can, I don't know how to do it specifically because I'm just not, I know I run a tech company, but I'm not that techie when it comes to like automation stuff. But like you can basically create a filter. Oh, it's up here. You can create a filter and add a label and like mass label like a certain domain, right? So that you can basically mass tag people essentially in your Google to send into Follow Up Boss as well, right? So that's a few of the features. Now, one of the other things that we did implement was with this integration from Follow Up Boss to Google is that a lot of team owners were like, well, I don't want one agent stealing the lead of another agent. What if the lead gets transferred, and then once it's transferred and it's updated, it sends into their Gmail, and now it's in their Gmail. So we did create basically a way to prevent that from happening, which would be if the lead has to be marked like SOI or referral in order to leave Follow Up Boss. So you can enable that feature to kind of protect your agents from getting their leads taken, right? So yeah, that's the Google Contacts integration. Ricardo, do we have any questions about it?
I want to say yes. I keep going back. It looks like we're going back to the duplicate for duplicate purposes and for wrong numbers.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you were getting your phone and Google Contacts has the most current contact information, but you were running like pay-per-click ads, et cetera. And so you have leads where the phone or their emails don't match. How does the system handle that in mass?
In mass?
Yeah, or just how would you recommend handling that?
Yeah, so like let me reiterate what you just said for clarity.
Just basically, how do we handle duplicate contacts? If we're generating a lot of lead volume, how do we handle that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not gonna send the duplicate into Follow Up Boss if it's duplicating in your Google.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not going to send it in. It's gonna look to match first by email, right, and then by phone number, and then it like so. Well,
I guess that's the problem. So like if you had an old phone number 4 years ago and a new phone number, does it add both numbers? Does it update the record with the secondary number?
Yeah, it would update the record with the secondary number.
Okay.
So it would throw it in because the number doesn't match, but the email does. It would make the update on the phone number. Now, if the email doesn't match, again, there's nothing we can do about that. It's going to create a new contact based on that email. So if that person, has a second email or a different email, it's going to look to create a new contact that way.
I'd have to ask our support team, but so the follow-up question is, you won't know which one is the right number in FUB. I'm wondering if we do like a strike through on the phone number on that bad number. I don't know.
I mean, if the phone number is like, so we're doing some work right now to where like, if the phone number, like if we recognize it as a bad number, it doesn't have the right digits or whatever, like we're not going to throw it in there. It's just going to like go null, right? We're not going to update it. But if it's like a legit phone number and it matches the criteria in Follow Up Boss, like we have no idea if it's a good number or a bad number.
Yeah. And then Celia is asking, she doesn't use Google for email or contacts. So will this only work with her Google email? Like, what do you recommend for somebody that's not using Google for their email or contacts?
Yeah.
How easy is it going to be to do this or to use it set it up to use it as a bridge to get your contacts in?
So you have to be using Google,
right,
to use this currently. However, hopefully by the middle of the year, we have it rolled out for Microsoft. But if you're not using those two email solutions, then you're kind of out of luck as far as like what I know. I mean, there may be solutions out there,
but how easy would it be to like sync your contacts to Google to get into Follow Up Boss?
Oh, to like set up this thing from your phone, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, it takes like 2 seconds. Yes.
Awesome.
Here, I can show you guys. So right here on Real Sync, if you go to resources, so we actually put a how-to right here. Need to sync your phone? Google, iPhone, Android. And there's step-by-step right here on how to enable it. So it doesn't take much, pretty straightforward. And we can, Ricardo, I'll put this in the chat here.
Awesome.
To you. Yeah. If I can find it here. Can never find it. Here, I'll give it to Jake. There you go. But yeah, that's the Google Contacts integration. And again, I think there's a lot of value to automating contacts into Follow Up Boss. I mean, everyone here knows how Follow Up Boss can take a dead lead if you have automation set up correctly and turn it into something that's warm and potentially doing business with you, right? So if you have contacts that are just sitting in your phone and they're not, they're not hearing from you, they're not getting engaged with, then you're missing out on potential opportunities, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So that is that. Any other questions around Google or how it functions, or anything around that? One of the questions we get real quick before I move on, Ricardo, a lot is like, what's different about using this integration compared to the Zaphier or API Nation, I believe. And I think the difference is the real-time updates of the contacts. That a lot of Zaphier is just a one-time push. I think API Nation's like that too. So it'll push a new lead create, but it's not going to continuously update the leads from system to system back and forth bi-directionally at the same time.
Awesome.
So I think that's the big difference of what we've built, right? And then the migration feature too. I'm not sure. I don't think Zap even has that available. So yeah. And then the last one that I want to talk about, last integration that we have and the company that we're integrating with is a company called audience.co, which audience.co, which a lot of people I think probably have heard of by now, but there's a video right here on the front. Look at that. So yeah, it's a robot. I've actually seen these in person. It's quite interesting how good they write and how it's almost impossible to tell.
Has anybody ever written handwritten notes, like a stack of handwritten notes?
Dude,
your hand my hand cramps up by literally note number one.
Yeah. Like every time I have to write a thank you note for like a gift for my kid's party or like a holiday or something, it's like by note 5, you're like, this is the worst thing on earth. Like, why am I doing this? This is terrible.
Paul brings up a great point. Like, it sucks and I can't read it. It's like the pharmacy prescription, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally.
This is probably one of my favorite integrations. So audience.co is a company we met, that I'd personally met like a little over a year ago. Jesse's a super smart dude, super knowledgeable. You would use this if you were doing like a farm area. What's fascinating about how they work is like you can go to your title company and get data for a specific farm. So just get a farm area. You can get the same data from audience.co, but what they do with that data is just amazing. So you would do this if you wanted to send like cards just listed for a specific farm. If you have if you want to say thank you for the listing and blah blah blah, or like a congrats, we're in escrow, here's what you can expect. You can do this for any number of you can use audience.co for any number of reasons. Like literally, what's amazing is these machines are very compact. They're intended to write the way you would write. If you send 1,000 of these, like you'll notice that the nuances and the stroke, the way Jesse explains it so much better, because I'm probably butchering it, but like the nuances in the stroke of the pen, they're intended to write as if a human was actually writing these notes.
Yeah.
And then your CTA, like you could see the QR code there. He'll put a CTA that says like scan me to get, wherever that bonus is. So if you were saying like your neighbor's house just listed for $600,000, for $800,000, whatever, want to know what your home is worth, scan me to find out. You can send that to your home worth land, like what's my home worth landing page. You could do these single and you could do these in mass. So to answer that question, yeah, you can do it for both. So very super, super powerful system, a lot of different use cases. What's interesting to me is what you can do with the data. So you'll not just get the farm area, so the list of first name, last name, and email, property address. You'll also get phone numbers and email addresses to the degree that that data is there. And I forget what he does or how he delivers it, but when you get that farm area, let's say you send out your handwritten note cards, you'll get the spreadsheet of everything. And then you'll be able to one click in that spreadsheet to send an email to say, hey, Scott, I sent you a postcard a couple of days ago or a week ago. Just wanted to make sure you got it. My name's Ricardo and I'm the realtor that's listing 123 Main Street. Let me know if you have any questions. So it's giving you a lot more to do with the data so that you're not having to sift and like come up with strategies yourself. There's a lot built into it.
Yeah.
But go for it, Scott.
No,
tell them about the integration.
No, I love it. And so what we've done with Follow Up Boss and Audience to make, again, to go back to like making it seamless for you to continue to use Follow Up Boss, right? Is that you can literally apply a tag. And I'm going to actually change the screen here and show you. So you literally can apply a tag when you're in FUB and whatever, like AUD underscore, whatever the template's called. So you can throw this on any contact. So obviously when you're sending to a farm, it's a list that you have, you're farming a neighborhood or an area, right? Those contacts are already be an audience that you're sending to. But then when you want to add a contact from Follow Up Boss to a specific campaign, all you do is throw this on there. The contact's going to go into that campaign list. So when the card goes out next time, that contact's in there, right? So it's all automated straight from your Follow Up Boss, which is super cool. Okay. Pretty straightforward as far as that part, what data you need to get that over into Audience. Now on the flip side, when they scan that QR code that you just mentioned, that data comes right back into Follow Up Boss. So in real time, you're going to see what they scanned, from what card they scanned, what URL, right? And then on that contact record in FUB, it's going to drop that as a note. And you can also apply a tag onto that particular contact for filtering. Now, if it's a new lead that was in your farm that scanned it, you're getting that data too, right back into Follow Up Boss. So in real time, which is awesome. So now you're generating potential seller leads, like Ricardo was mentioning, the home value, whatever the URL, QR code, link is, that call to action that's on that particular campaign. If that's someone new, it's coming right back into a lead create, a brand new contact in Follow Up Boss that you can continue to follow up with. So pretty awesome stuff. Very like a quite simple integration, but just super valuable, I think, when it comes to, generating specifically new leads out of a farm area, right? For every time that a QR code is scanned.
Hey, so this is a really good question. Like a card that I might send or think of sending in mass is something like, let's say I have a farm of 1,500 people or a past client database of like 1,500 people. Mm-hmm. I might say like, hey, Scott, hey, Ricardo, I'm sitting down to create a comparative market analysis for one of my clients. And normally I only create these when somebody is thinking about selling their home. But I thought, given today's changing market, you might be interested in one as well, even if you're not thinking of selling. Scan the code below if you want me to generate, a CMA report for your home as well.
Yeah.
What how does this work if I want to do that in mass? Do I just add a tag to everyone that says, AUD underscore selling home or CMA request?
Yep. You would make up whatever you want to call that particular template. So when you customize the template in audience, the tag, you just associate it with the name. So if you wrote, CMA request is the name of the template or whatever you decide it is, that's the custom tag that you create and Follow Up Boss. And that's it. And then you just tag people as you go, or you can mass tag them at one time and add them all to the list, however you want to do it.
Nice.
Yeah. It's super, basically we're just looking automatically for the template name match when you create that new tag. And then obviously it's looking, if you're throwing new contacts in the audience, you need to have an address, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have somewhere to send the card, but yeah, so
you're not adding the QR codes. You're not audience does all of that for you.
Yeah. Automatic. So when you create your initial template, whatever template you're creating, if you're creating a custom one, right, you're not using one of their out of the box or recommended templates, they're going to automatically have the QR code on there.
All you're doing is giving them copy, like the content for the message. They literally take care of everything else.
Yeah. So you would write the copy if you were creating a custom template, right? And obviously they have a ton of templates that they recommend that are being used, right, by and getting results, of course, right? But yeah, if you create a custom one, you would do this. The QR code is going to be automatically generated. This is something that we worked on with them.
So I can go in and literally create a bunch of templates in the audience CO. So like deal one or listing one. And when next time I go into Follow Up Boss and I go into the lead profile page, I literally just click to add the tag and it'll trigger the campaign.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's super easy to use. So, and they're getting amazing results, as Ricardo mentioned earlier, right? When obviously farming takes time, right? Again, it goes back to everything else you're doing for that particular neighborhood. Are you branding yourself in other ways? Is there social media? Are you the ambassador for that area? People recognize your face. Like, are you doing all the other things that you need to be doing in order to be visible? Farming takes time, but it works really, really well, especially when it's a handwritten card, because these people don't know this thing. These things exist, right? Yeah. You talk to a normal person that's not like very much into real estate. They don't know there's robots writing.
Yeah. So Paul, great question. I don't recall from my conversations with Jesse, because we've had this conversation. We had this conversation a little over a year ago. And then the integration was new, rolled out around like FubCon. We were just drowning in FubCon. Yes. But basically, I think they do have data, and you would have data on how many scans of that QR code. But I don't know if the QR code is going to a piece of tech that company is creating. I doubt it. I think it's going to one of your landing pages. So you would specify a landing page.
Yeah.
If you don't have most website solutions have What's My Home with landing pages now. If you don't have one, you can get a free one through Cloud CMA. In most markets, or in a lot of markets, Cloud CMA is a member benefit. If you log into your Cloud CMA account, you get a free What's My Home with landing page associated with that account. If you don't, then my second favorite option is HomeBot, because as a realtor, HomeBot is the most powerful and cheapest product that you're going to pay for in the market to get a home value landing page. It's literally $25 a month for up to 500 contacts. And you'll get a free What's My Home with landing page with it. But you will get data points on like how many people are scanning the code. I would just use one of your own landing pages to send them to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if you're using Curator, I would just send them to your built-in What's My Home with landing page. So the question is, how does the person receiving the card get value? I think it just depends on the campaign, right? We've used these to send like Christmas cards to say thank you to our customers. We've sent this to say like thank you to our speakers. We've done it for like that, and we don't necessarily need to put a QR code for that. I think we did on one of them to say as a thanks, we said claim some free swag. So we had them scan the code, and that went to like our inventory checkout page. But I guess it really just depends on what you're doing, what type of campaign you're creating or generating.
Yeah, but also it depends on how you look at what's valuable to you. You have a different standard than other people that may be receiving this, and just getting something handwritten might be value enough, right? A lot of people don't get anything handwritten. I can't remember the last time I got something handwritten in the mail where I was like, oh, someone wrote me an actual note, right? Other than like, a thank you card from like my niece once in a while when I get her a gift, right? But like, I think, don't project onto what you think is valuable. It's different than what someone else thinks valuable, right? And just getting the card might be enough of a message, Also, another little tidbit, this one's free as well to you if you sign up with Audience. So it's included in your fee with Audience, right? So you don't have to pay RealSync for this one. So the only one that you'd actually have to come directly and pay us for is the Google Contacts, right? And then we have, we'll put in there a free or a promo code as well for RealSync. So FUB capital FUB 50. It's going to give you 50% off with RealSync for 12 months. So if you sign up before the end of the month, and you can sign up for free. So it doesn't cost you anything until you actually start using our platform. So it's a pretty good offer, 50%. And dude. Does anyone have any other questions about these 3 different integrations or systems?
Awesome. Yeah, no. First of all, Scott, thank you. Thank you all for joining us, carving out an hour of your day. As always, we appreciate you guys. This one's in particular is one of my favorites. Like I said, do a demo with our company or just check them out. It's a good product. It's you can use, there's a lot of different use cases for like what you would use Audience for, but the fact that you can go to your database, your lead profile, add a tag, and it'll trigger a card, like that to me is grossly amazing. There's a lot of value just in the nature. Look, I had a sales rep who, after every appointment, would literally sit down and do handwritten cards. He was always, he went from, new hire to top 5 top 5 sales rep, like literally month over month, his first 3 months in the business, all because he kept sending like handwritten note cards after every freaking appointment. And it's just a small touch that has a high impact because nobody does it anymore.
Yeah.
And I think you can get pretty creative with it. I think you can get pretty unique with it. The strategy is just like repetition to your market so that people can know, like, and trust you faster or better. And it's just, how can I get creative with my marketing to put all of this tech stack together so that everything works seamlessly. But again, if nobody else has any questions, thank you so much for joining us. Scott, thank you so much for walking us through some of these integrations. When a card is triggered, does it record in the contact that a card was sent, or which one? That's a very good question. Does it do that, Scott? Would it add a note like that I just sent a card to say thank you for winning the listing or for getting the listing?
Would it add like an activity note and follow-up loss? I don't know. It's a good question, Paul. Obviously you can see the tag on the contact, so but it's only going to send it once. But we certainly could do that, right? Yeah,
because at a glance, it would be good for me to know. Like, I know that the tag is there, but what am I looking?
So just like like just an activity update or like tag was applied, sent note to.
Correct.
That's good feedback. Yeah, we can probably make that happen pretty easily.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Oh, but the note shows when the card was sent. So getting that data back from audience on like when the campaign went out or when the card was sent. Is that what you're saying?
Just in general, I think. But yeah, in the note.
Yeah.
Just so that I have some frame of reference, because like I'm not really going to know when the tag was applied. I mean, I am, but just being able to see that visibly in the activity field.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
well, thank you guys. We're at
thanks
time.
Everyone.
I appreciate you all, and talk to you guys on the next one.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Ricardo. All right, man.